Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to League of Europe. We are here for F1 2021 action, Season 6, Division 1, Round 8 of the Championship as we take on the Austrian Grand Prix from the Red Bull Ring. My name is James. I'm going to be taking you through the stream, as always, on a Saturday night. And joining me in the commentary box, it's not Mr. XL Gary. He's away for his 21st birthday, so happy birthday, of course, to Gary. But joining me in the commentary box, it is Miss Jessica Ball. Jess, how you doing?
I'm really excited about this track. One of my favourite tracks to commentate on in league racing, and it's one of the shortest laps on the calendar as well. It used to be the Austrian Ring back in the 1970s, and then in 1997 it was the A1 Ring where we saw the likes of Mika Häkkinen and Michael Schumacher battle for the championship there in 97 to 99 or whatever. And then in about 2011 it got renamed to the Red Bull Ring, and then in 2014 basically, it all took on from there for the hybrid era, and Mercedes won quite a lot. But recently, in 2020 and 2021, Max Verstappen did quite well in this track, taking the last couple of wins as well. So, should be a very exciting race. And after what we saw last week in Russia, it should be some really packed battles going on tonight.
It should be. I think every single race we've had here, honestly, in Division 1, it's been an absolute instant classic. Not so much last week, I've got to be honest, in Russia, but there was quite a few incidents. Hopefully driving standards are going to improve as a result. But we can take you through the championship standings, of course, running into tonight. Montana, of course, took the win last week with Alba, his NSX teammate, in second. And then third position was Nathan in the end, his best result score of the season. Montana, though, does lead the way on 121 points, with Connor in second on 94. His championship rival, as well as his teammate, chasing him down. With Alba in third on 66, of course, he's a reserve driver. With Cantera in fourth on 65. He didn't start last week. I think he's back this week, however. Rocco in fifth on 63. Then a big jump down, if I get my words out, to Justas and Verstappen in sixth on 52, only 11 points behind actually. Neo in eighth on 48 points after third place, of course, in France. Dylan in ninth on 40, and then Nathan in 10th on 31. Looking down the rest of the field, of course, Campbell, Daniel, Yulbream, Alpha Trix, and Matthias round off the top 15. Ruta, Vaporizer, Yul Melmet, M. Short, and Jensen round off the top 20. Leonard, Juman, Izza, so far have scored points. Arcolo and Larkin haven't. 16 drivers currently within lobby as we stand. But Jess, obviously, Montana won the race last week. A great performance from Alba in second, and Nathan with a bit of a shock third, his best results of the season. What can we expect coming into tonight in Austria?
Well, it's going to be pretty open, I think, for these drivers today, because we may see some drivers come out of their shell that are not used to the long tracks on the calendar and like the short tracks. But even though it's a short track, it is never easy to get it right, because the track limits are absolute hell around this track, including turns 8, 9 and 10, and turn 1 as well. If you go wide through turn 1, boom, an instant invalidation on your lap, or a warning, or even a time penalty added to your race result tonight. And it could be time penalties could decide the race order at the end of the race, which we don't want to happen, but I'm sure people would like to keep it clean with no penalties. There was a few instances with the Stewards last week, with Montana didn't originally won the race, but his 5-second penalty got removed. Alba had his time penalty removed as well, which got removed into second. But there was quite a few instances between, I think it was Naya and Shambles, and 20-second penalty was removed, but Shambles swapped positions because of that. But yeah, I'm expecting penalty central tonight around Austria, but I'm expecting Montana to be up there again tonight. But you never know, you can't become complacent, can't you?
You can't become complacent whatsoever. Montana, by the way, is in the comment section and saying it's going to be hard to distinguish you commentators. What are you trying to say, Montana? I've got a female voice. Is that what he's trying to say? I think it might be. Honestly, our Swiss man, of course, our championship leader, and James in the comment section as well, saying, who's this on comms? Sounds so professional. That is, of course, Miss Jess Games joining me in the commentary box tonight. Gary, of course, wait for his 21st birthday, and probably, as we speak, getting under a table with a few shots. Very nice on a Saturday evening. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else than in the warm commentary box with my nice warm radiator to the left-hand side of me, and it looks like we're about to get going very soon indeed. Of course, running through the constructors' standings as well, Mercedes, of course, out on top. They're dominating in terms of the constructors. 215 points to their name. They're 102 points ahead of Red Bull, which is absolutely insane. Comes to show the consistency of Montana and Connor. Red Bull in second on 103, with Aston Martin in third on 79. Haas in fourth on 73, with Alpine in fifth on 68. Ferrari in sixth on 57. AlphaTauri in seventh on 31. McLaren in eighth on 24. Alfa Romeo in ninth 29th on 13. Not sure if there's a glitch with the standings, because they've apparently awarded no points for every single race up until the end of the season. And then Williams in 10th, also tied on 13 points as well. Jess about to get going, of course, qualifying. 18 minutes, 36 laps, of course, awaiting the guys out on track. Around, of course, the 4.3 kilometre circuit, 2.6 miles, 10 turns awaiting the guys out on track. 3 DRS zones, plenty of opportunities for overtaking.
Yes, and we also have the tyre compounds on offer today, the C4s, the C3s and the C2s as well. And looking at the strategy for today, it is going to be probably an easy one-stop race. But I'm heard from the drivers that it's a lot harder to do a one-stop around Austria this game than last game. So I think they've got to be on the ball, literally, for the strategy as well. The softs being around about 4 tenths quicker than the mediums, and then the softs being 1.3 seconds quicker than the hard compounded tyres. I think there's a bigger delta between the mediums and hards this week, so I think the hards, they don't want to touch the hards at all, really, unless they get damaged. The softs can last 16 laps, and that's where we expect the drivers to pit for the mediums, ideally, if they want to make the soft to medium strategy work. But who knows, they might get the undercut going.
Yeah, set of soft compounded tyres, as it looks quite overcast actually as we transition into the circuit now. 19 drivers, of course, about to do battle around the 18 minutes qualifying session. But looking at, of course, the championship, Montana leading the way, Connor in second. And it's going to be one of these battles, I think. Are we going to see Verstappen-Leclerc style in 2019, where they fought each other on the run-up in toward Remus? Or are they going to try and fall by the wayside and maybe have a little bit of contact, of course, like the two Mercedes have had in the past in 2016 in Spain? First cars are now coming out on track. Looks like it's one of the Hasses, I think. It's Verstappen who's coming out on track. One thing to note, of course, as you say, softs, mediums and hards, and rain.
Yes, rain as well is quite common, and I see it might be just me. I think I've seen some raindrops. Yeah, I see some raindrops. So Verstappen has had a huge advantage. He's the first driver that's come out on track. He's going to see the rain first, and he's going to be the most grippiest. So Verstappen is, I think, literally going to get pole unless he makes a mistake through track limits as well. So if you're not out on track, if I were you, I would get on track now. So Matt Tibos, Matt TU, Matthias, I'm getting confused with my maths at the moment. I know I'm not on maths, but apparently it's going to get heavier as the qualifying session goes on. So, yeah, I don't know why Matthias left it too late going out there, but... And with Justas and Montana on the mediums, they probably didn't check the weather forecast, did they?
They didn't, to be honest, but they might put themselves outside of the top. It might be the one to watch out for. But Verstappen starting us off on a lap. The Dutchman will be hoping for a very good result. Yellow flag in sector 3. Don't worry about them. I think it's McLaren and Mercedes going slow. But Verstappen now through turn 1 at the Niki Lauda curve. Of course, famously renamed, of course, after the legendary F1 driver. Verstappen now coming through the kink of turn 2 to 16.1 through the first sector. And now into Remus at turn 3 and towards the top of the hill. Pretty much the highest point on the track as we now dip down in towards Schlossgold at turn 4. Yes, these pronunciations might be off, but I'm going to try my damnedest to try and get these corner names in. Verstappen now coming through turn 4, through Schlossgold, and now through turn 5, and then in towards 6 at, of course, Pirelli, as it's known, of course, through turn 6, and this is turn 6, coming up now through the left-hander, and now through the middle sector, to 45.1 through the middle sector. You can see now, raindrops really begin to affect the track. TDB, of course, saying in the comments section that it is going to be not improving in terms of the weather conditions, so everyone is now trying to lay it up, and these lap times are well off the pace of what we could be seeing. Verstappen, though, coming out through turn 10, pretty much a lap of the Red Bull Ring, all over and done with, as Verstappen now comes to the line, a 105.3. Anybody going to improve in behind? I think it's going to be very tough.
Yeah, I think the earlier you've gone out on track, I think the quicker you're going to be at the moment, and the later you're out on track, you're probably going to set the slowest time. But I wonder we'll see some invalidations. We've got the two McLarens fighting together as well. Daniel Montana. Alba has retired from the session, and he's got 5 place penalty with Leonard as well. So there must have been a huge collision. I think it was final corner, actually. Start-finish straight.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the final corner. Looking at it, I think they've lost it on the outside curve, possibly. Wooter now coming towards the line. And I mean, Wooter's on a lap, but it's a 1:15 flat. That's how bad these weather conditions have literally got. Verstappen's out on top. 5 thousandths of a second might just do it for pole position. It's Verstappen out on top, it is a second, it's Campbell there in third. Looking on board with laps as well, Jensen's still on a lap, Leonard not on a lap, sadly. Neo is invalidated as well. Milan is in the pit lane. I think he's probably said to himself, yeah, I'm not coming out in these conditions, it's going to get worse before it gets better. Jensen, however, is on a lap, and we'll see what it's going to be, but he's well off in terms of pole position at this moment in time. So Jensen, I think it's going to be around maybe the 110 quite market. He actually spins. He spins into the wall, nearly gets flipped up actually on the right-hand side with contact with the wall. Right-side plate damage for Jensen. That is his qualifying session pretty much run. DRS has not been disabled just yet, but I will imagine it is going to be, and everyone's probably going to retire into the pit lane. So it looks like Verstappen has got pole position.
The track is getting very slippery as well, and this is not the first time I've seen this situation this week. It was actually in Austria on Monday in PSGR where I suffered exactly the same thing, where it started off dry and then about 30 seconds later it started raining and people were just on their laps. As DRS has been disabled then. So that's pretty much it. Unless people want to go on the ins to get a feel of it, but if I were them, you wouldn't want to do that unless it's raining in qualifying, but you may want to get a feel for the race, so you want to get a feel for the track regardless anyway. Matt Tibos, you can tell that these slicks are definitely not the tyres to be on right now. People may probably get a faster lap time if you're on the inters right now, so that's probably what Jensen and Matt Matthias will probably be thinking at the moment. And let's see, no one's improving, everyone's sliding. I hope I don't get that in my Division 5 race earlier on where it's dry to wet, because it'll be an absolute nightmare. But, you know, biggest story, Montana is in P7, and then we got Connor in P5. So the championship rivals quite close. Then we got the likes of Kvyat, Verstappen and Campbell P1 and P3. So a good day for Haas.
Yeah, Jav in the comment section as well saying Montana and Justas big brain moves, both of them on a set of medium compound tyres, both of them inside the top 10 as well. It looks as if the weather conditions are going to get worse before it gets better, so very limited running is going to be happening, of course, out on track. These guys may as well just retire and have the session over and done with, but these guys are not like that. They will race every single minute and every single second of the 12 and a half minutes that we've got left in this session so far. But it is Verstappen out on top, Izza in second, Izza's best qualifying actually of the season so far, with Campbell there in third, Yildirim in fourth, Connor rounding off the top 5. But as Jav mentioned, Montana and Justas on that set of medium compound tyre. Threat of rain is never too far away, of course, in the race. We don't know what the weather conditions is going to be doing. But Montana and Justas, I mean, from Montana's perspective, he's only 3/10 off pole position on a set of mediums, and Justas is only 5/10 off Verstappen on a set of mediums as well. So they've pulled, I think, an absolute bold strategy, and it's going to work.
Yeah, I think so as well. Meme to softs around here. I've tried it in practice earlier on for my race, and I felt like it was a lot easier from them soft to memes as well, because you're going to be a lot faster towards the end of the race. So just as Montana, watch out for them towards the end. Even though they're going to be slow towards the start of the race, pretty much around about lap 12 and lap 13 at the crossover point, they're going to be absolutely rapid and may gain quite a few positions off the rivals that are still maybe on the sort of compounded tyres that can pull a huge gap as well. And I think I just had word in the comment section that it won't rain in the race, so it is a dry session, but there may be some drivers that could improve on the inter, so that's why some of them are out there. Don't know why Justas and Larkin aren't, but I'm guessing if they can improve, they will get free choice of tyres, but I don't think they want to do that. I don't think they're going to get a 105, 106 in the inters. If they could do that, then they will probably be in F1 esports by now. Oh my god.
Well, obviously the Challenger Series, the sign-ups I think have opened for that, if I'm not mistaken. The event, I think it's around France, if I'm not mistaken. And honestly, everyone's going to be pushing their limits in terms of that. So this is why I think Justas and Jensen may be thinking that 20% chance of rain is actually more. They might have been told more of a threat of rain. Dylan has now retired in the pit lane, and actually there's a couple of drivers now coming out, Aston Martin and a McLaren. I think Larkin is one of them, and Matthias is the other. So they two are coming out as well. Justas, however, on the run up in towards the final couple of corners through turn 9 and then through turn 10, and we'll see what Justas is going to do. Obviously he's not going to improve on a 105.8, because that'll just be absolutely silly if he goes quicker on a set of inters compared to a set of mediums. If he comes across the line, at least we're going to get some on track action though. He comes across the line to start us off on this lap 10 minutes ago. Pretty much no change, I would say, maybe unless Matthias and Jensen can improve as well as Wouter. I think those three will be the ones to watch out for Justas, however, though, coming up towards the kink of turn 2 and then towards turn 3, 17.3, already 1.1 seconds up through the first sector, locks up as well on the curb, coming through turn 3 at Remus, and now will open up this other DRS zone, of course. No DRS, it actually really fights the car on the exit of turn 3, and you don't want to be applying too much throttle, because you might just end up spinning like Justas nearly did. Now then for Stroshkul, and again, really much struggling on this compounder tyre. The track looks really damn bad on track, and Justas pretty much like a skating rink from at this stage.
Yeah, it is as well. But even though he was only 1 second down on his previous best in the inters, that's not a bad lap time at all, I think, from sector 1. So didn't see what his sector 2 split right now, but I think this is showing who's good in the wet and who is not good in the wet. But I think the ones that maybe are not brave in the wet right now, that's probably why they're still in the pit. So we're going to see how slow the inters actually are compared to like the softs and the mediums, and it's a 111.9. Not a shabby lap from Justas. It's pretty good actually. So that is impressive. We've got Larkin as well on his intermediate lap 2. We'll see what he does. We've got Matthias going through turn 4 now, and he's invalidated his lap time. But the more that you're on these intermediate tyres in these type of conditions, the more grippier it gets, I find. So I think Matthias is going to probably go on another lap. He is recharging his battery. He's got full 100% ERS. So is he going to be doing a George Russell? Well, he's not going to get in P2 or P3 like George Russell did in Russia and Spa, but at least he could try and potentially get pretty much P13. There's no way he's going to get P12, but he's going to try and get at least one position. Same with Jensen as well, but at least Jensen did not invalidate as he heads towards turn 5 and 6. Now this is very tricky. You've got to brake even harder in these conditions. Past turn 7 now, moves to that left curb a little bit. Oh, that was almost an invalidation from Jensen as well. He is a driver that has improved a lot as well, to impress lots of other teams and leagues, and he's recently been moved up in PSGL as well to F2, which I have the privilege of commentating next week. Let's see what Jeds could do on the inters. It's going to be a faster lap. 110.944, that puts him into P13, and that's the fastest inters lap so far.
Yeah, and just to compare that as well, Larkin was obviously on a lap as well. He said a 111.2, I think it was. So Jensen actually went quicker compared to that Inters lap that Larkin set. Obviously, Larkin set his best lap on the set of softs, and it's a 106 flat, and that will remain as it is. And Jensen actually only 400s up through the first sector. But what these guys will do is set multiple laps out on track. If you're wondering what my reaction was, by the way, earlier on, Matthias had a right moment like Justas coming on the exit of turn 3, and that's why I nearly screamed down into your ear, which I really apologise for. Verstappen, though, out on top is a second, Campbell in third. Leonard is also on a lap. It's good to see Leonard back. He's missed the last 6 races, I think. Only turned up in Bahrain. Verstappen has now decided to retire in the pit lane, so he is currently good for pole position at this stage. But as it says, nearly 6.5 minutes to go. Verstappen out on top is a second, Campbell in third. These guys on a dry compounder tyre, it's really only Jensen, Wouter, Matthias, Leonard that we're probably going to be watching out for in terms of improvements.
And I think for everybody else, it's just them going on the wet track on the intermediate conditions just to get some experience, really, because you never know with the season. It may rain no matter what, and you got to get used to it. And these drivers, it may be the first time that they've raced in the wet around Austria. There may be other leagues where they're doing Austria as well. So the more practice they get, the better. So every experience on the track they have counts as well, as Leonard has invalidated his lap, or I think it was his out lap, I'm not entirely sure. It was an invalidation, so he goes out again. The only driver who's still on the Indy yet to set a lap time as well. Valter's just gone past turn 3 right now as well. He may get a bit of slipstream from the car in front as the car moves out the way. That is Jensen. I think he's going to go on and push that once again, or he might go in the pits. I don't know, but Valter is very struggling past turn 4, so I don't think it's going to be the fastest intermediate lap that we're seeing today then, unfortunately for him. But at least he's going to challenge the likes of Jensen as well. But even starting on the mediums in the race won't be too shabby for him as well. 3 seconds slower, obviously, than his intermediate time so far. So not very good at all. So I'm guessing he's probably going to go out again, even though he's on hot lap. I could tell. No, but I think he's going to be on for one final, I think, push that for the time being. 5 minutes left to go of the session, and as Jensen goes into the pits, I wonder, can he find some more time now, or do you think he'll be happy with that lap?
Well, he did improve actually about a tenth and a half on that lap. It was a 110.7 in the end from Jensen. Wouter came across the line as well in comparison with the 111.2, and Wouter didn't look committed through the final couple of corners at all. Leonard came back into the pit lane as well. We've only got an outlap, I think, from Matthias at this stage, so he's probably going to be the next man to watch out for in terms of improvements. But you can see a track like Austria really negates the fact that the Inters are not as slow as the set of dry compound tyres around here, because it's somewhat only 5 seconds between Verstappen and Jensen, 5.5 seconds, if that, and normally around tracks where it's absolutely teeming down, it could be 9, 10, 11 seconds in places. Matthias now starting up on a lap as he now runs up in towards turn number 1, and now comes through past the 100 metre ball, turns the car in very nicely indeed, and that's an invalidation straight off the bat for Matthias. Good to see him bottling where he's left off.
Exactly, and I think I picked up the track limit warning turn 1. If you go wide in turn 1, then you get an invalidation. So hard to not stay wide, go wide in turn 1 in the wet anyway. So, and you can tell it's getting worse by the minute. Sooner or before wets, sooner or later as well. So yeah, I don't think he's going to have time to go into the pits and go for one final run. So if I was him, I would stay out, because the more grippier the tyres, the better it will be. I think we've got Jensen going out for his final few laps. I think that will be the final time, so he'll be setting. Valtters is taking a long time to get into the pits, but let's hope he gets into the pits within the 3-minute marks. Otherwise, there's no way he's going to set a lap in time as well. Quite a lot of people are retired, so they had enough. They just want the session to get underway. They're just probably thinking, why are you out? Please retire. But I'm sure the more experience they get, the better. There's yellow flags everywhere. It's just people going into the pit lane as well. Is Matthias going to go out again? Yes, he is going out again on another lap, like he said. But let's hope he doesn't bin it in turn 1 this time, like he did last time in the Aston Martin. So he goes up the hill into the Niki Lauda curve. Let's see what he does this time. I think he'll move more to the right this time. Much better from Matthias. So not a ball job from him, but it's not just turn 1 he's got to worry about. He's got to worry about all the other corners around this track. And it's definitely getting heavier around this track. So I think he's going to be a bit slower.
Yeah, 7 tenths down the first sector, but it's a 1:18.3, and that lap time really is to improve, especially in the final sector where I think he backed off and made a mistake on his previous lap. Verstappen, though, as I say, still out on top, is a second, Campbell in third. Just ignore basically the top 12 at the moment and just focus on literally the bottom half of the field. Albert, by the way, third in the championship, didn't get a lap time in. He's down in 16th. Neo has left the session as well in the Aston Martin. He's down in 19th position, so hopefully the German will get another invite, possibly from Verstappen or from one of the retired guys in the pit lane. And Matthias now coming through in towards the final couple of corners, really fighting the car out of the Verth curve at 7 and 8, and now on the run up in towards turn number 9 at Rint, and then through turn 10 at the Red Bull Mobile, the right-handed curve, of course, through the final corner. And Matthias is going to improve massively on this 1:18.3. Going to be not quicker than the guys, but I think it just comes to show that the track conditions are worsening out there. Matthias goes 15th, 1:11.8. Massive improvement, but obviously doesn't improve ahead of his position. Leonard is on a lap, is retires in the pit lane as well. Probably not many drivers that set a lap time in. Montana and Justas, by the way, having a discussion in the Discord. Justas is saving the tyres. That's why he retire from this session. He is saving tyres going out on, of course, from qualifying into the race, comes across the line and goes 7,000 behind Matthias on his lap. So not a bad lap from the German.
That is pretty good as well. I was watching his final sector and he looked so committed there as well. He loves the wet conditions. He was hoping it was going to rain in the race, but unfortunately it is not. But I think the gap between P14 and P16 is nothing. That's how close Division 1 is in these wet conditions. So very impressed between these two as well. I did see Justas at the moment changing his tyres around between the Inters and the 4 wets to see which of the deltas, which of the tyres will be the best. But yeah, he decided that the Inters were the best tyre as we got more yellow flags. That's a Ferrari. I think that is Jensen, who's Justas' teammate, that's unfortunately binned it. But yeah, Justas has decided to go on the Inters. As I think he's on the cusp at the moment, being on the Inters and 4 wets. I can't tell what it is, but you can hardly see on the track at the moment. So it is basically just about guts, really, and see what you could do as well. But again, I'm sure Justas won't mind getting some experience anyway. And I think that's a very smart move for him to go onto these intermediate tyres and 4 wets, knowing that you're not going to be using it in the race, and you only got more tyres to play with if you have to pit for any reason. Justas does go into the pit lane, and then we got another spinner. That is Jensen again in turn 5 and near turn 6. So yeah, I think that's going to be his qualifying done unless he can improve.
I think qualifying is pretty much done, to be honest. I don't think anybody is going to improve. Jensen is really heating up the tyres. He had a spin, by the way, coming out of turn 1, and that's why there was yellow flags there, and he's obviously had 2 more spins on this lap, and Jensen obviously is not going to improve on a 1:10.7. He is going to be starting, though, 13th position. I think he'll be very happy with that. Of course, as you mentioned earlier on, Jess, he, of course, excelled in the PSGL and VRT Esports Cup event. He finished 3rd, obviously finished 4th in the end with Frasilo getting that penalty removed, and obviously has been promoted up to PSGL F2 as well, and has been doing very well on a Tuesday league. But I commentate on him as well. However, he doesn't want to do that, as he now nearly crashes coming into the pit lane. You don't want to do that, my friend. Ruta and Leonard also on lap times as well. Leonard 7/10 off through the middle sector. The conditions are getting worse. Ruta is obviously invalidated on his lap as well. I would safe to say it's pretty much qualifying done. Verstappen is out on top, and it comes to show. Jess, you predicted it right. First man out on track gets pole position.
And the second man on track gets P2, which was the Alpine car, I believe. So, actually, no, it was a Williams. I'm not entirely sure, but he was one of the first guys to go out on track. So, you know, you got to be committed not either way, because you never know what the rain can throw at you. And I know some of the drivers in their engineering boxes have probably said, oh, it's not going to rain in qualifying. But then Jeff suddenly decides, oh, actually, rain is imminent, and they've got to be proactive with these kind of stuff. That's why the weather is what it is on this game, and that's very, very exciting.
It turns out as well we've had the most closest qualifying session so far this season. It's Verstappen out on top by 5 thousandths of a second from Izzer in second, Campbell in third, Yildirim in fourth, Connor in fifth. Neo was joined, by the way, which is good. Daniel in sixth with Montana seventh, Justas and Nathan Larkin in ninth. June ran off the top 10, all covered by 7/10 of a second, not too bad. Dylan, Rocco, Jensen, Ruta, Matthias are top 15. Leonard, Alba, Milan, who was our new driver, and I'll come on to him. And of course that 5-second penalty, I think, with both Leonard and, if I'm not mistaken, who was the other one? Jensen, was it? Who had
Alba,
contact?
I think it was Alba.
Alba. So Alba will be starting from the back of the grid.
Yeah.
Oh, Montana has left the session.
Oh no, our championship leader has left the session. That's going to get spicy indeed. Hopefully Montana will get an invite very, very soon, because otherwise that's going to be points down the drain. Now, it's good news if you're the likes of Connor, who wants to chase out for that Drivers' Championship, but it's not good news for the constructors, because they want to get the gap that they need to in the constructors too. So it's kind of like a bittersweet feeling at the moment. So hopefully either Verstappen or any of the drivers can send them an invite as soon as possible, because we don't want to just see Montana knocked out like that. We want to see a championship fight, so fingers crossed we can get him back in.
Yeah, fingers crossed indeed, of course, but he's starting on that set of medium compound tyres. He has managed to rejoin in the session, which is absolutely great. Thank goodness for that. Breathe a sigh of relief, everyone. Our championship leader is back in the session. And of course, actually, he's not going to take control of his car on the formation app. He will take control of his car underneath the restart. So underneath when we get going, he will take control of his car then. So could cause a little bit of mayhem maybe in the mid-pack. So watch out for that. He's starting down in 7th position. His teammate, of course, Connor, and his Neva's championship rival, starting just ahead of him in 5th on the same side of the grid. Let's have a look then at what tyres everyone is on. Of course, top 10 qualifying on that set of dry compounded tyres, as we have mentioned. Everyone else going for a bit of a split strategy, though. Quite a few on a set of mediums. Dylan, Rocco, Jensen, Ruta, Milan, and Leonard on a set of mediums. Matthias, Alba, and Neo going a little bit bolder, going for a set of softs. And you mentioned earlier, we were having a conversation before we came live on stream. Strategy around here, soft compounded tyres, I think, can last about 12 laps or so if they've got very good tyre wear underneath them. If they haven't, obviously, one-stop strategy might not even come into it, because it could be a two-stop race.
Yeah, I think a lot of things to consider as well, and don't forget there's a possibility of a safety car which could happen as well, which throws some into the mix. The hards could be coming to fruition as well if they have a safety car and they want to get their one stop out the way. We don't know about this situation. The Division 1 can get quite crazy at times, but around Austria, due to the fact that the lap times in the race is going to get quite close as well, expect a little bit more risk. And I'm curious as to why Matthias and Alba had gone for the soft strategy. That strongly suggests that they want to get their overtakes done earlier on, and if they're getting held up by the medium runners, then that's probably the wrong decision. Or maybe they are predicting that early safety car, maybe lap 1 and lap 2. That's a little bit ambitious, but if there's no safety car in the first few laps or so, then probably their strategies in the mud as well. As we're seeing some two-stop strategies come up in that AWS as well. So that's probably what some of the drivers are thinking. But knowing these guys, they'll probably do the one-stop strategy anyway. And don't forget, the top 10, they're on the tyres that they were on to set their fastest lap in qualifying. And it was in much colder conditions. So they're going to be worn as anything. So they're going to struggle. But let's see what all the drivers could do. And I'll hand it over to you, James, to kick off with the starting laps.
Yeah, it is going to be fantastic, of course. Verstappen out on top. Izza on the front row of the grid. Izza, of course, his best qualifying of the season. Verstappen, his best qualifying of the season as well, on pole position. A bit of a topsy-turvy grid, but what is going to happen, of course, as we see, I think Montana just taking control of his car there, as we now are being prepared for the 5 red lights to go out in the gantry. They are coming on. 5 red lights coming out here in Austria for round 8 of the championship. And it's lights out and away we go. And Izza gets a very good start. He's got the inside line of Verstappen running down in towards someone who's already got ahead just about the Indonesian. Down the inside line of Verstappen. Verstappen hangs around the outside. Fair play to him. And Verstappen holds the lead. Everyone's clean through turns 1 safely. And Verstappen leads the way. Izza in second. Campbell in third. Yildirim and Connor are going side by side just in behind. Daniel now going side by side. Montana has taken control of his car and he's down in 7th. But Verstappen leads. Izza in second. And actually Campbell tries to make the Haas 1-2. Level of contact further down the field. I think Milan got caught up in something there. But Verstappen leads. Is a second. Campbell in third. Connor in fourth. Predicted pit stop strategy comes up weirdly down in towards turn 4. As now Connor centre all the way around the outside of the Scotsman at Campbell. And these two now fight side by side out of slush goal. Now coming through turn 5 and then in towards turn 6. There's a bit of contact further down the field. Matthias has spun on the inside curve. I think Connor muscles his way through in the Mercedes. He's into P3. It's Verstappen who leads. Is a second. Connor third. Campbell in fourth. Daniel in fifth. Really good start from him. Montana hasn't moved up any positions. Hasn't lost any positions either. Interval timings will fix themselves to the left-hand side, but it's Verstappen who holds the lead. Izza in second, Connor in third through a very hectic first lap.
But everyone kept it clean through the first 3 turns, which was very, very impressive. Well done to everyone as well. But fair play to Connor for being ahead of his championship rival at the moment. Pretty much the biggest gainer out of everyone so far. Also, Rocco has gained a few positions as well, but he's dropped because he's got Dylan and he's got the Alfa Romeo driver of Albert going side by side. Albert's got to get these moves done now as he goes on the right-hand side into turn 3. And he's probably going to do a double overtake. Can he make it stick? Heading into the heavy braking turn, they're still going to go side by side. Don't forget, DRS is not activated until the next lap, and Albert executed that to perfection right now. Montana's trying to get P7 back from Larkin and entered towards turn 4 on the outside, heading into there, and he's got low ERS at the moment, 44%. Larkin has a bit more, but Larkin can't get past, so Montana is staying where he is at the moment, and Daniel's looking very feisty, had to try and get past Campbell.
I think Larkin might have damage, actually. He's really struggling in terms of the pace, and I think he's got left side end plate damage. It looks like he's going to come into the pit lane. Yostas comes down the inside line. It's getting very aggressive, to be honest. Larkin is into the pit lane, so I spotted the damage on the car, and Larkin is now into the pit lane. I think he picked that up maybe with side-by-side contact with Montana coming through turn 3 at Remus. Verstappen though leading the way. Izza in second. They're pretty much a second away from Connor in third. Campbell in fourth. Daniel in fifth. Yildirim in sixth. Montana is on the back of this train in seventh. Nobody I don't think is going to get the moves up the hill in towards Remus at turn 3. Rocco now closing in on his teammate of Dylan. These two, of course, been quite consistent in the last couple of weeks in terms of their performances. Wooter there in 12th, Jensen 13th, but everyone stays behind. Big old DRS train now developing. Verstappen leads is a second. Connor in third. Larkin, by the way, coming in for a set of hard compounded tyres. No choice really. Then maybe to go to the end of the race on that compounded tyre. But Verstappen leads is a second. Connor in third, remaining unchanged. Yildirim now trying to pressurise Daniel for fifth.
Here we go, Zen Yildirim doing an excellent job so far. Even though he's gained 2 positions, he wants to fight back as well. I think he got muscle from Montana and just staff behind as well. And that's probably what happens. We got contact for Dylan. Dylan spun it in, I think it's middle of turn 4 into turn 5. No, actually, no, turn 7. They look so similar when he goes backwards. But yeah, Dylan has lost a bit of grip there, and his tyre temperatures are going to be absolutely huge. Even though it's not much of a factor in this game, look at the way he's struggling in this car. You can tell it's making a difference so far. So Dylan,
Hayes is for the lead. Hayes is for the lead. Sorry to cut in, Jess. Hayes is coming for the inside line in towards turn 3 at Remus. Should get the car stopped. Daniel's down the inside of Campbell as well. Just in behind. Really good action. Good driving standard so far from the guys. And now Verstappen is going to try and have the overlap on the run down in towards Schlossgold at turn 4. But the Indonesian, I think, is into the lead of the race. Izza is through and he's in the lead. Verstappen second. Connor in third. So much action. I had to cut in with you there.
No, that was absolutely fine. This battle for the lead is getting very spicy indeed. I have to say, the Williams driver, it was his best qualifying session of the season. Could he go on to have his best race result of the season, which will do very, very well in the power rankings, I have to say, this week, if he can hold this on. So, no pressure, Isa, in P1 at the moment, but we know that Verstappen is very quick. Same with Connor as well. Another yellow flag. That is, I think, Doom, that's having a miserable day. He's lost 6 positions of the opening lap, and he's probably going to go on to another set of hard compounded tyres as well, because he might have picked up a bit of damage, or he just may want to get rid of those softs completely. He goes into the pits, unfortunately, for another driver to have a nightmare of a race. And even though Lenners has had a nightmare of a race, he's gained 1 position technically, because he started the race from last on the grid, and the only way you could gain is up. So Leonard, a good start from him so far, but you can see Verstappen is gaining on the DRS into turn 4. This could be a change of the lead here, heading towards turn 4. No, the Williams driver closes the door there quite nicely, but Verstappen gets a much better run than the Williams driver, but he has to stay behind for now. I'm looking at the ERS from Verstappen, 67%, and the Williams driver, 52%. So it is advantage Verstappen at this moment in time. I wonder if the 2 Haas cars will be working together here to try and get a position. And we got our first time penalty for the race leader in the Williams driver, 3-second time penalty. If it stays like this, he won't keep that win. So let's hope there's no safety cars.
Yeah, position gains, by the way. Alba has gained 7 positions out on track. Fantastic from the Alfa Romeo. Daniel on the back of Connor as well. I had a little notification pop up, by the way. Internet connection quality is not sufficient to broadcast gameplays. Connor gets caught on the outside of turn 1, and now Daniel is going to run at him on the run up towards Remus, and Verstappen now going to run at Issa up the hill in towards turn 3 as well. It could be side by side for both first and second, and for both fourth and fifth as Daniel tries to loop it all the way around the outside of Connor. A little bit of contact for the lead of the race, but Verstappen is through. Verstappen is into the lead of the race. Issa in second. That opens up a whole can of worms in behind, because here comes Issa once again back, and Campbell on the back of Issa as well. Nearly lunges it down the inside line. Bit of a half-hearted move, to be honest, but Verstappen leads. Issa in second, Campbell in third, Daniel in fourth, Connor in fifth, Yildirim in sixth, Montana and Justas has now joined the party. Alba on the back of this as well, and Alba's looking to try and get a move done on Justas, of course, former NSX teammates, Alba and Justas. Justas, of course, now joining Relentless, performed really well, I've got to say, in the EML Premier race, of course, on a Wednesday night. He finished second to Nathan then. Nathan obviously not here tonight, but Justas in 8th position, Alba in 9th. Alba cannot find a way through purely because he's on the set of soft compound tyres and he's stuck in the DRS train as Daniel right on the back of Campbell for third.
Yeah, and we also got Alba that could get Justas maybe into turn 3, but let's watch the battle for the front as well. This is absolutely huge, a DRS train. This is absolutely insane. I'm glad I picked the right race to come and join you in the commentary box, because it's remarkable. As we can see, I think the Williams driver is not giving up. Again, Verstappen closed the door into turn 3. Is Daniel going to go for the move into turn 3? He doesn't either. Neither does Connor. Neither does Yildirim in 6th position. Montana is just staying steady at the moment on these medium compounded tyres, but Alba, we know, is quicker on those softs, but it's starting to degrade for him. That's why he's not catching up. I think he's gaining a bit more on the corners than on the straights due to his setups at the moment. These drivers have been preparing their setups for days now to make sure they get it right, but for some people, they've got to rely on pretty much straight line speed, because there's most of the track you can take a full throttle, but there's only a few heavy braking zones. I think turn 1, turn 3, and then a little bit into turn 4, and that's pretty much it. The other times you only need to brake a little bit, and that's it. But anyway, we're heading towards lap 8. Is the Williams driver going to challenge for the race lead? He's got to get that gap that he needed to. Campbell's just hanging in there. Daniel's also fighting for third too. And I think if one driver blinks first, then the others may follow. We've got another yellow flag. That is Matthias, who's having a nightmare at the moment. And yeah, his front wing is completely gone.
Is this through into the lead of the race as well? He made the move stick up the hill and towards turn 3. No safety car, no VSC out on track either for Matthias's misfortune, I've got to say. But Matthias now down in 16th position. Italy leads the way. Verstappen in second, Campbell in third. There's fights going on up and down the field. Jensen and Milan are going side by side. IFR against Shazoo. Just like PSGL and VRT Esports Cup event last night, and Jensen now on the outside line, Milan on the inside line, and Milan just tucks in, so the Shazoo man does not get through on the IFR man, and the IFR man, of course, in that final point scoring position. Of course, we paid top 12 in terms of the points, not the top 10, as per normal Formula 1. It looks like, actually, Verstappen is coming into the pit lane. Yeah, Verstappen is coming in from second position on the grid, so Verstappen is into the pit lane. Not sure if anyone's followed them in behind. Nobody has, so Verstappen has committed early. He wants to try and get the undercut. He wants to try and get out of this DRS train. He's into the pit lane, probably going to go, I would say, set of mediums to the end.
Yeah, I think so as well, but that is really, really early. But the memes could last 21, 22 laps, so he is pushing it a little bit. But you never know, there could be some late safety cars, so the undercut is quite powerful around this. So there is a battle going on.
Alba!
Oh, Jesus, Alba, you gave me a heart attack. Jesus Christ.
Alba nearly dove down the inside line. He saw the gap there on the inside line. Alba could not commit the move. And I think from Alba's perspective, he's one of the guys that I'm looking towards to try and put a little bit of inspiration into this race and try and perform a massive undercut on everyone ahead of him. Izza leading the way, Campbell in second, Daniel in third. But honestly, Campbell looks like he's now got the pace. He's been freed up, of course, with Verstappen coming into the pit lane. Is the Scotsman going to come in this time around? Izza is coming in this time around. So I think Izza, Campbell, Daniel takes the inside line and actually runs wide as a result, Campbell, and that might be a little bit of a penalty, but I think it was the natural racing line on off-camber corner. But both Izza and Campbell both into the pit lane, and now they're going to try and look for the undercut. Verstappen, by the way, in terms of where he is out on track, he's coming through Rint at turn 9.
Yeah, I think the drivers who were near the front, they had to really respond, to be honest, because otherwise they were going to be in a lot of trouble. So let's watch Verstappen, and as he goes into the pit exit, it's going to be very, very tight. Here comes Izza now. Here comes there he goes. Yeah, Verstappen comfortably ahead, but the gap I think is even closer between the top two. So game on with these two until the end, and pretty much the top three is pretty much unchanged since the very start. But I think we're seeing Daniel and Connor thinking, hang on, maybe I should have jumped the guns and pitted, but you got to make your bed and lie in it, my friend. And for some of these guys, they probably have to stay out for their teammates. So what will Connor do? What will Montana do? Will Connor let Montana into the pits first, or the other way around? Because don't forget, they are fighting for the championship. It's like a Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton situation. So I'm just seeing, nope, none of the top two are in. Neither is the AlphaTauri. No, neither of the top five were coming in, but some of the guys are on the medium compound tyres, so they can stay to around about lap 20, and then they'll be going on the soft. So we're going to watch out for the ones on the soft to pit. Yeah, so the ones on the mediums, they'll be staying out for a long time, but watch out, I think, for Montana. If he could close in on Hilbrym and get the move, that is a sign that people on the soft should pit for the mediums.
Yildirim, to be honest, I've got to argue, looks a little bit more like he's going to get Connor on the run down and towards Slush Gold. It just seems to me that Connor might be just overwearing the tyres slightly. Yildirim looks in a very more comfortable position. He hasn't got blistering anywhere on his tyres so far. I can see on Connor's, actually, I think it's his front right, that's actually beginning to blister, and of course that's one of the tyres that actually takes a real hit around here and could take a puncture towards the end of the race, of course, as well. But Daniel leading the way, Connor in second, Yildirim in third. Jav, by the way, getting a little bit of post-traumatic stress disorder from Justas and Alba battling for 5th and 6th, and now Montana right on the back of Yildirim. Doesn't look like anybody's going to come into the pit lane this lap around, and yeah, everyone stays out for now, but I did say about lap 12, lap 13 is Alba and Rocco now, and Alba has actually spun it, I think, coming to the final corner. Through turn 9, I think he got caught on the outside curve. Montana now through on Yildirim. Might be a characteristic move from Montana. He gets ahead of Yildirim. Might be intertwined team tactics as Milan has retired coming into the pit lane. So maybe a little bit of contact between them both.
Yeah, well, I think so as well. I didn't see the aftermath of what happened, so maybe Milan has given up, and maybe he might got some floor damage, and don't forget, floor damage, it can't be repaired, so maybe that's why, because there's no other reason to pit, because you could still salvage points in this race, because the top 12 could score points, so should be interesting. You can't really give up like that, but we've got some more moves going on. Izza has almost had a bit of a moment there, as he's just
he's ahead.
He's ahead, actually, and he's up into P11 of this race, and the net race leader then, so Verstappen could be struggling there, but is he going to fight Izza for the race lead? Don't forget, Izza is on fresher tyres, but he's got that 3-second time penalty looming, and what Izza's got to do now is force Verstappen into mistake for him to get a penalty, and then it'll be even Stevens. Same with Campbell as well, because don't forget, Campbell has got no penalties. Yildirim has decided enough's enough for those soft tyres. He's going to go in for the meme, so Daniel and Connor will probably follow anytime soon. I'm liking the Mercedes strategy at the moment. One person's on the softs, one person's on the memes, so they're going to avoid the double stat, and the pit stops shouldn't be a problem. They won't be compromising on the lap times and the race times at the moment.
Oh, here's Connor! Connor for the race lead's already cut in, and now Connor down the inside line on Daniel, trying to get the move done down the inside in towards turn 3 at Remus. It's Daniel who comes out on top. Connor did not have the negator to try and get the move done, but now down in towards Sloshkull, it might be a different thing, because here comes Connor on the inside line, and you know where he picks up an inside line, he would go for it, but it remains as we are. Daniel in the lead, Connor in second. Connor just put a little bit of false sense of maybe in Daniel. Montana right on the back of this as well. The two championship leaders are right together as one, and then behind, I think we're maybe going to get a three-wide scenario between Verstappen, Campbell and Izza, and Izza's actually been outgunned by both Haas, so Haas now up 10th and 11th, Izza now down 2 positions for the price of 1.
Yeah, unfortunate for him, but good for the Haas drivers in and constructors as well, and I'm sure they're going to do everything they can to stay ahead at the moment in time. Daniel is into the pits then, so I think we're still waiting for the likes of Neo, Albert and Connor to come into the pits for their undercut strategies to either pay off or not pay off at this moment in time as well. It could be 3 wide heading into turn 3 as well. We're seeing that Izzo is gaining a little bit again on the 2 Haas cars, but I'm sure the 2 Haas cars will be working together like I've seen earlier on. And we see some more battles. Connor's
just nearly gone into the back of Montana. That's what's just happened there. Connor's just nearly locked up into the back of Montana, and now Wouter and Connor are fighting side by side down the hill and towards turn 4. It's all kicking off. They're all on split strategies, of course, and now Connor tries to look around the outside line. I don't think those softs are going to work, and the inside line of 5 will work for Wouter, and Wouter's just about ahead, but now Connor on the inside line for 6 is going to retake that position back. Brilliant racing, great driving standards. Montana now leads, Justas in second, Connor now down to third. That's sort of soft compounded tyres, my friend. Get in the pit lane now before you are going to be absolutely eaten up by the pack behind, because Campbell, Verstappen, Izza, Yildirim is soon going to be on the back of that battle as well, as Ruta is all over the back of Connor.
Yes, and I think we're seeing quite a few people into the pits. I saw Neo into the pits as well. We got an LP car. He's out of the race. Safety car. Are we going to see a safety car? Yep. Safety car. That is good news if you're the likes of Connor, because you're going to get a free pit stop coming up right now as well. But what would you do if you're on the mediums? Well, it's too early to go on the softs, but don't forget the reduced pace of the safety car. The softs could be a viable option. We don't know what these drivers are going to do. This is so open as Connor is almost at a slide going into turn 3, and these softs are definitely not the best tyres to be on, my friend, and maybe staying out just a little bit longer has helped Connor, and it's also helped Alba as well. I mean, that's going to be very, very good, but don't forget those 2 drivers yet to pit. Dylan, he's on the softs, so he's going for the bold strategy. Larkin's come in the pits as well, so Larkin, Matthias and Leonard, just by staying in this race, they're basically going to have an almighty comeback towards the end of this race, and they're back in this race now, so they can still get points. So let's see what tyres they go on to. Leonard will probably go on to another set of mediums. That could go to the end. Same with Matthias, same with Larkin as well, so they're back into this. Will any of the front lot go in? Montana's in, Justas is in,
everyone.
Connor, everyone. If I were you, everyone that hasn't boxed will go in. Or maybe, if you're still on like 4 or 5 lap on me, and maybe go on to softs.
Was that a bit of front wing damage maybe coming off either Ruta or Rocco? One of the two, unless it was a little bit of a marble flicking up in the air. One of the two. Has Ruta got damage? No, he hasn't. Has Rocco got damage? No, he hasn't either. It must have just been a marble that flicked up on my screen. Terrible. Campbell leads the way. Verstappen in second. Izza in third. Montana, by the way, has came out in fourth. Fourth position, and he's done a set of soft compounded tyre. 20 laps on a set of soft compounded tyre? That is wishful thinking, my friend. But if anybody can do that strategy, Montana can.
Well, don't forget, they'll be on 3 laps in under the safety car at reduced pace. So I would say the softs on a regular dry race without a safety car could last 16 laps.
Actually, Dylan's came into the pit lane. He's transitioned from a set of softs to a set of mediums. I wonder if this is what Montana, Justas, Ruta and Rocco have got to do, because remember, they've got to use up the 2 mandatory compounded tyres in the race. So brave. I wonder if Montana and Justas are doing this to maybe negate the fact and maybe expect a safety car later in the race. But it's a really bold strategy if they do want to pull this off. Campbell leads, Verstappen second, Izza in third. Goodness knows what these guys are going to do on a set of soft compounded tyre. Are they going to come in and relinquish track position and come out, basically 13th position where Jensen is at the minute? Or are the likes of Montana and Justas and Wouter and Rocco going to go on that set of softs towards the end of the race?
It's very, very brave as well. So we'll see what Montana does as we get towards turn 8 and 9. Is he going to go on there? He's committing.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's not.
Oh, and Justus said he went into the back. Actually, Wouter is in. Wouter is in and Rocco's in as well. So both of them are in as I put my water bottle all over the place, which is absolutely fantastic. Terrible. Luckily, the lid was on. It hasn't spilt down me or anything. Campbell leads the way for 7th and 2nd. Izza in 3rd. The life of a commentator, commentating live here on League of Europe. And Montana there in 4th. Justus in 6th position. Have stayed out on that sort of soft compound tyre. Wouter, Rocco, Jensen, who was also on a set of soft compound tyre, are all in. And look at where this is going to come out. It's going to be side by side between Wouter and Dylan coming out of the pit lane. And Wouter is ahead. And I think Dylan realised that he didn't want to fight for the position. And Wouter now in 11th position. Is the safety car going to come in this lap? I think we're going to get maybe one more lap with Leonard just coming through turn 1.
Yeah, I think so as well. There's usually 2 or 3 laps, and it usually takes a while for the field to catch up. So yeah, Leonard will be on the lead lap once again, which is good news. But yeah, that was a strategy that I did not think of at the moment, because you will have to use the softs and the mediums can get to the end. The softs is a bit of a risk, but they will be in puncher territory. So it's going to be tight for Montana, but I know Montana could do it because he's a championship leader. Just as I'm not sure, but I know he will not give up without a fight. But I still don't know who's going to be winning this race. Campbell could be in there as well to win, but I know Verstappen is definitely going to be on the charge. I wonder what Gunther Steiner is thinking right now in his pit wall. Are they going to be letting each other race? Safety car's in. Leonard has catched up to the back of the pack, James.
Oh, and actually Connor is going ahead of everyone. Connor is ahead of everyone. 5-second penalty. Connor is pretty much ahead of everyone. I think he's realised this, and there's absolute carnage underneath the restart. Connor might get disqualified at this rate. There's going to be so many 5-second penalties that you've probably just seen on your grid. Izza has got a 5-second penalty. Justus is retired actually coming into the pit lane. I think he's actually crashed on track, but Campbell leads the way. Verstappen in 2nd, Izza in 3rd. Driving standards were bad last week. That was an absolute shocker of a safety car restart if I've ever seen it in any league race, let alone here in League of Europe. Campbell leads the way. Verstappen in 2nd, Izza in 3rd, Montana in 4th. Jensen's now picked up a penalty. Daniel now running side by side with Yildirim. Neil now is the real split in the party, because it looks like the top 6 are literally going to fight this race out, because Neo 3.6 seconds behind Daniel, and now Daniel right on the back of Yildirim. They're going to fight side by side down the hill and towards Schlosskull. Probably one of the most weirdest safety car restarts you will ever see. Daniel, I don't think is going to commit down the inside line on Yildirim and remain as we are between them two, 5th and 6th position. Campbell leads, Verstappen in 2nd, Izza in 3rd. 5-second penalties in all of that for Montana, Yildirim, Neo. All picked up 5-second penalty. I think Izza picked up one as well. Dylan, Connor, Rocco with 3 seconds, along with Jensen. Matthias has got 9 seconds worth of penalties. There's got to be a lot of stewards' investigations. And Gary, I think you might be the head steward for Division 1. You've got your work cut out, especially if you've already been underneath the table for the last hour.
Well, Gary's not in the commentary box, but he's not going to miss this action, that's for sure, because, that safety car restart was atrocious, I think, at the moment, and probably the worst I've ever seen as well, so these drivers have got to get their
that's a safety car! Leonard's crashed! Leonard has crashed coming through the final corner. Leonard has crashed, and now what this race does is actually negate from this safety car restart, and it actually gives these guys another shout at doing a clean safety car restart.
They could go on the softs. They could go on the softs on the tyres.
Yeah, Mark mentioned it in the comment section as well, saying 40% of 10 laps of soft compound tyres were worn 40%. So if that's if my maths is correct, they're going to be on 76%, 80%, somewhere like that towards the end of the race. Obviously, underneath the safety car, they're not going to be picking up that too much. Alba, by the way, is into the pit lane, and he is the first to come in. I don't think he's going to be lapped either by these guys. But absolute tragedy underneath the safety car restart. I really do not know what happened there. Campbell though leads the way. Verstappen in 2nd. Looks like, however, all of the guys have actually committed to staying out, which I'm not too surprised that they actually are. But remember, drivers have got 5-second penalties. Why not serve them up, go to the back of the queue, and then try and make your way through the field? Obviously, that's going to be negated with the DRS train. Nobody, apart from Jensen, has came into the pit lane.
Yeah, well, not really that surprised. They want track position, and knowing I've seen in the chat as well that 40% worn after 10 laps. I think they don't really want to be in that situation.
We've just received confirmation with TDB. Everyone disappeared on the screen for a bit, apparently, if I heard the party correctly. So obviously Connor's in a party, and drivers have... And again, literally like what is happening there. Connor's gone past Dylan, past Rocco, and now he's letting them back through. They're disappearing on his end. Maybe it's something to do with a ghosting system, desync, I don't know. But Connor, if he's not seeing these guys out on track, honestly, what are we doing racing, to be honest? If the lobby seems like it's glitched, certainly for Connor's end. I'm not sure if anyone else is experiencing this, but for Connor, certainly, it's giving him trouble. And for a man that's sitting second position in the grid, that's exactly the last thing you don't want.
No, you definitely do not want that. And if it's desync issues, then it's probably another glitch in the Codemasters list to add to that on PlayStation. It's just getting worse and worse as the game cycle's going on, unfortunately, as well. So maybe, I think there was a suggestion in the chat for him to go into AI mode until obviously the safety car is in. He could do that, but I'm a bit worried he may get involved in some contact again. So I think for Connor, it's going to be damage limitation. At the moment, he's still in the points, and it's a safety car coming in. He's in the pits, so yeah, he's doing the right thing there, and he's going to probably be brave and go on the soft compounder tyres, which, again, that's going to be quite tricky, but we'll find out very, very soon. But I feel so bad for Connor, our championship rival. He's going to lose so much points to Montana at the end of this race, but we don't know what Montana's going to do. And don't forget, there could be some Stewart penalty removals due to that safety car restart that happened with the likes of Connor and Montana and the ones that got the 5-second penalty. So, and apparently he overtook under safety car as well. For Rocco, actually, he also had the same problem. So that's why he got the penalty. So Rocco won't get his removed. But
I think just to come on to that, actually. Yeah, just to come on to that, actually, I think Rocco, why he didn't get any penalties, it's because Connor passed Rocco and then negated the code in the game to not give him a penalty. I think that's what's happened there, to be honest. Connor obviously is staying well behind now. I think this is now Connor being sensible and staying in behind everyone and not wanting to overtake everyone. But hopefully the safety car restart is not going to be good, as the safety car is going to come in this lap. It is Campbell who leads the way, Verstappen in second. Honestly, this race is now beginning to turn into the instant classic that I always wanted around here in Austria. Didn't have it last season, of course, because it was full intermediate conditions and full wet conditions. But Campbell leading the way, Verstappen in second, Isla in third. What do these guys do in the safety car restart? It looks to me Montana is going to be the quickest man out on track by an absolute mile. However, will those tyres get towards the end of the race? All of these questions will be found out very soon indeed. Campbell leading the way, Verstappen in second, Isra in third, Connor staying well back this time from Jensen, which is good. And now we get back underway because Campbell absolutely falls. His tyres actually glitching into his bodywork, which is very strange from that camera angle. Campbell now leads the way, 0.7 of a second. All four wheels are still on that car, luckily. Campbell leads the way, Verstappen in second, Isra in third, Montana in fourth, and we're under a clean safety car restart, exactly what we like to see. But Campbell leads the way, Verstappen in second, Isra in third, Yildirim must pick up a 3-second penalty, and now Wouter's right on the back of Neo for 7th position. Is he going to try and get the move done on the hill in towards Remus? I don't think he is. He breaks very late and actually contacts the back of Neo, and there's a little bit of bumper cars in behind. Rocco's got damage on both end plates, I think, as well. He certainly went into the back of Dylan, and Dylan then catapulted himself, Rocco, into obviously Wouter, and now Rocco's got damage. Jensen now through, Larkin is through as well, into 10th position. As I was just about to say, it was a clean safety car restart until turn 3, and Connor now on the inside line of Matthias looks to the outside man now coming through turn number 6. Can he absolutely send it all the way around the outside? Fresh set of soft compounder tyres, literally wheels apart. Beautiful move by Connor though, and he flew and Larkin spun.
Larkin spun, that's allowed Connor to get into position. Well. Jensen has spun as well, so he's down into P13. My oh my, the safety restart was clean, but a few moments after that, it was definitely not as well, and it gives chance for Matthias. He's started in the back of the grid, having a nightmare of a race. He's in the points right now. He'll certainly take that in a heartbeat, but he's struggling on track right now on those mediums. I'm sure Jensen on those softs will try and get past, but watch out for Matthias towards the end of the race with his more durable tyres. As Jensen gets past into turn 2 and now in towards turn 3. Now he's got to really much hold his line in order to defend his position, which he does right now as well. Here comes Montana on the back of Isa then, in towards turn 4. He's going to go on the inside then. Can he keep it steady? That is amazing for our championship leader. He's showing why he's the Division 1 championship leader this season, of how committed he was at this moment in time. And I think Isa had nowhere else to go really, to be honest, but that was a good move on the inside there, and he's up into P3. And could we see him challenge for the race victory? But don't forget, he's still got that time penalty looming for that safety car restart, but that could get removed. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Of course, all of these results tonight will be provisional.
every single one of them because there's going to be a lot of position changes, I know for a fact. But with still 13 laps to go, including this one that we're on, Campbell leads the way. Verstappen in second. DRS now enabled, and Montana is literally looking at the rear end of Verstappen and thinking, "You're mine, my son." He's right on the back of Verstappen. Looks to the inside on, and actually Verstappen's going to look to the inside on and Campbell. And actually Montana tries to go all the way around the outside, actually. And actually Verstappen... And was that Yulbreen who got contacted as well? I think Yulbreen and Verstappen made a little bit of contact now. Montana is through and he's into second. Yulbreen, I think, came storming down the inside line. He was so far behind.
And he spun.
I don't even think I saw him out on track, and he spun further down the field. Verstappen, by the way, through and he's into P3. Daniel now through and he's into P4. And I think Izza's got damage, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Suddenly a winglet missing as Daniel sweeps all the way around the outside of Verstappen. And Verstappen certainly, I think, has got damage on the right side end plate.
Yeah, but Audi losing a bit of downforce past into turn 7, and then that's allowed Daniel to get onto the podium position and maybe fight for the race win. Matthias has got a 3-second time penalty as well. He's now on to 12 seconds. I think it's about 30-second penalty you get before you get disqualified as well. So the ones with no penalties so far are Campbell, Daniel, Verstappen, Albert and Larkin. That is it. Obviously pending Scherz inquiry because we may get more penalty removals. That is insane right now. And Daniel having a very good race. The AlphaTauri has retired in the pit lane, so there will be no safety car. But let's watch Montana as he hits the back of Campbell.
Montana's into the back of Campbell.
He's hit the back of Campbell then. This will be huge for the championship. And we also see Dylan off as well. A few people struggling with these cooler temperatures, don't forget, because the track temperature is cooling down at the moment.
On the outside! From the outside of Sloshko he goes, Montana all the way on the outside, Campbell's on the inside line, Scotsman against Swiss, and now the Swiss is on the inside line and towards turn 6 gets the move done, and Montana is through. And fair play, I've got to say to Montana, coming out of turn 3, he could have easily gone ahead of Campbell. He waited, that was good sportsmanship from Montana's perspective. He leads the race in a fair manner as well. So Montana leads the way, Campbell in second, Daniel in third. Last time we came into Austria, of course, Daniel finished in first, and he's now in third, and he's got Campbell literally right in his front mirrors, with Montana obviously getting away on that sort of soft compound tyre. Daniel could be in to win this.
Yeah, don't count your chickens before they hatch. Do not become complacent, Daniel, because he's he's pretty much 11 laps away in maybe getting his race victory. Out of all the guys, I think he's the faster guy on the mediums. And is he going to go 3 wide into turn 3? He's going to go past Montana maybe as well, heading towards that corner, but he decided enough's enough. He's going to hold the line. He's got DRS as well. So does Montana. And allows Camel to pull away into the distance. That is one of the best moves I've ever seen in this stream so far. Keep it up, Daniel. And he's one place away getting that race victory. I wonder, as Mark was saying in the chat earlier, are these soft tyres starting to grade even more? I think they're on 40% on Montana's car right now, which strongly suggests maybe he's done the wrong thing going on the soft tyres. But there's more battles happening up front. We got Rauter and Izza with the two Williams guys, 5 for P4, and we got Verstappen as well. Verstappen almost certainly will get pulled P4 anyway because he has no penalties. He could be on the podium, so he's going to try and chase down Montana. He's even catching up to Montana, so yeah, the softs for Montana is starting to die right now.
Yeah, Daniel on the back of Campbell, dipped down into 7th gear, back up to 8th. Campbell catches the inside curb, and now Daniel is on for this. Connor and Izza has actually spun through turn 1, so Izza has spun, and Daniel switched to the inside line. Beautiful move by the Dutchman. He's now through, and he's into the lead of the race, and this is where he was this time last season, of course, when we came into Austria for round 1 of the championship back then. It's now round 8, and Daniel leads the way with 10 laps to go. Daniel leads the way, Campbell in second, Montana in third. I'm getting confused with drivers' names. Wooter right on the back of Verstappen. In towards 7th Sloshko. Dylan, however, the real Dylan, is right on the back of Matthias for 10th position, and Dylan stays in 11th for now. But a lot of battles happening up and down the field. And can we just speak about, by the way, Connor, despite him causing that absolutely ridiculous safety car restart, P6 on the fresh to the softs on 5 lap olds, and he's right on the back of Verstappen and Wooter.
Connor is on a comeback charge for sure. You do not give up, Connor, and that is what he's doing right now. But I'm sure he will be suffering some huge consequences due to that incident, but if he knows he's out of control for that, then he probably won't get penalised as much then, as we're almost at the end of the Grand Prix already. This race has been action-packed from start to finish, and I'm almost about to lose my voice here as we're seeing a lot of people running out of ERS at the moment, in particular.
It's going to be 3 wide.
It's going to be 3
wide. That's not. Connor's backs off. Rooter on the inside line, Verstappen on the outside line as well. And now Rooter dives it down, but a cow could be 3 wide. Down in towards Schlossgall because Connor is going to pick the double toe and he's going to get the move done. He's going to try and box himself in and nearly sandwiches himself between the cars. Now switches to the inside line. Connor fresh on that sort of soft compounder tyre, dives down the inside line, but now Rooter is side by side with him once again. Connor, however, and Montana tries to get the move done on Campbell. Connor though through and he's into P4. Great stuff by Connor. They went 3 wide. A little bit of contact. It was clean. It was fair. It was hard, but it was fair. And Daniel now through and he's in, still in the lead of the race. Campbell in second, Montana in third, really hounding the back of Verstappen. There's another position out to Jensen, and Jensen is now coming into this in P6. He's into P6 on a set of soft compounder tyres as well. Daniel now leads the way. Jav hit the nail right on the head. His last win in Division 1 was around here in Austria. Could he be able to do the same thing again? Campbell and Montana are now fighting between themselves. Daniel is flying up the road.
Yeah, he is 1.4 seconds. He's out of Campbell's out of DRS range of Daniel, so this could be game on for Montana as he goes for a swooping move into turn 3. That sure is an easy move for him as well. We got Valtters going for a move as well with Jensen. Jensen's on the softer tyres, but I wonder if his tyres are starting to degrade a little bit. But don't forget, Jensen's starting from the back of the grid. He's thrown under the radar a little bit, but he shows you do not give up in league race, and you get things like that around the inside then, into turn 5, now heading towards turn 6. Can he hold his line? Jensen, incredible stuff. Don't forget, he does have a time penalty, 3 seconds, but so does Connor, so does Valtteri, so does Verstappen now. So this is all for track position between these 4 guys. I can't wait.
Alba's going side by side with Verstappen down in towards turn 9 as well. Down the inside line. Lovely move by Alba. Great racing between them both. Alba's soon he's into P7. Driving standards might be failing tonight, but once again, the action makes up for it. Daniel leads the way, Montana second, Campbell in third. Connor, however, right on the back of Campbell. The 2 championship leaders might be going to battle very soon indeed, and Connor is eyeing up Campbell. There should be an easy move through the kink at 2. And look at Jensen! Jensen sweeps around the outside, now on the inside line, in towards turn 2 and 3. Now up to the inside of Remus, and now Connor and Jensen. Jensen, as soon as he's into P4, he might yet pick up P3 because Connor doesn't have the DRS in front of him. Daniel leads the way. It's Montana in second, and now Jensen. Is he going to risk it for a chocolate biscuit? No, he stays in behind, and Rooter stays in behind, and Campbell as well. Great action up the hill in towards Remus. Daniel is third, he's in to lead the race. Montana suddenly second, Connor suddenly third, and Campbell on that set of mediums absolutely going off the cliff. He's down to 5th.
I know, but Campbell's got no penalties, whereas the guys around him have, so maybe he's not fighting it too much because he knows other drivers will make a mistake as well. Alba's got no penalties. We could see
Larkin's crashed.
Larkin's crashed. That is turn 3.
And Daniel has just came around the final corner. Daniel has just came around the final corner.
So
everyone, luckily, I think is...
So is everyone. So is everyone, apart from Neo.
Neo, Verstappen, Dylan all in the pitch, yeah.
Wow,
I don't know where to go with this race.
This has changed massively. Oh my god. There's no... what would you do? Would you stay out of a track position? I don't know. But the safety car's behind. The safety car is behind them all, so they should be okay. Panic over.
I think, honestly, these guys have been saved. These top 8 have been saved. They can all now put in, set us off compounder tyres. Why don't we get a little bit of a sprint race going while we're at it as well? This race is just turning absolutely inside out. Gary, I absolutely miss you, my friend, but honestly, I want Jess in the commentary box with me every week from now on. Daniel leads the way, Montana in second, Connor in third. This is probably one of the most intense races I think I've ever commentated on this game so far. 5 laps to go, remember, after this. Daniel leads the way, Montana in second, Connor in third. Daniel, you've got to argue now, is he going to come into the pit lane or is he staying out? It could be a Lando Norris sort of call, and Daniel stays out. Montana stays out. Connor stays out. I think everyone is pretty much staying out as well. Yeah, Jensen, Campbell, Rooter, all staying out. Alba, however, is the one to risk it, and he's now into the pit lane along with Matthias, and they're going to come out because of the delta times in behind. They're going to come out ahead, I think, of Dylan, if not behind Dylan, but only by about a second.
Well, if I was near towards the back of that train, I would have boxed if I was them. So Alba doing the right thing now, and he could gain massive position because of this. But if you got time penalties, I would be worried right now because they're going to drop masses in that safety car, and it's going to take a while to catch up. So this is going to be the most intense finales I've ever commentated on in league racing around Austria. This is why I love commentating Austria, folks, on this game, because it brings races like this. We still don't know who's going to be winning this race? Could it be Daniel? Could it be Montana and Connor pulling away? Could it be Jensen? Could it be Campbell on 21 lap on mediums? We don't know. Could it be Albert? Albert could sneak a podium here because he's got no penalties.
Jav as well coming in and saying more safety cars in Division 1 than Division 3 and 4 combined. Is that all season or is that just tonight? I think that might be just tonight. But that is unbelievable. We've had 3 safety cars here, and we're going to be staying at least another lap underneath the safety car. I'm going to now contradict what you've just said there, Jess. I think Alba's going to win this race. He's on a fresh set of soft compound tyre. He's got no penalties to his name either. The German is in behind Reuter. If he gets Reuter and Campbell very early on underneath the safety car restart, he is winning this race. Jensen, Connor, Montana, those sides are now ebbing away. Alba on a fresh set of rubber is going to be absolutely fine. Watch out for Neo, watch out for basically everyone on that sort of soft compound tyre that are on fresh tyres compared to everyone else who are on a worn set of softs. Daniel, however, we haven't even talked about him in the lead of the race. Can he pull away once again from Montana and Connor, the 2 fastest men on the grid, and Daniel win another race here in Austria? There's so many unknowns, but it makes for a thrilling finale.
Jav is putting some bets in the chat that Neo's going to win with Alba and Jensen to collide, and he's going to bet 50 quid. Who are you going to give the 50 quid to if that bet comes true? How about 25
Gotta be to Gary.
Yeah, give it to Gary for his 21st birthday. I'm sure he'll be absolutely delighted. So, yeah, if that bet comes true, give 50 quid to Gary. There you go. That's your bet sorted. There we go. So, this is going to be very, very intense.
Oh, he's just said myself. That is terrible. Jav, you absolute cheapskate.
Safety car's in. Safety car's in this lap. So Daniel's going to be the safety car, de facto safety car at this moment in time. And don't forget, I just realised the DRS is only going to be enabled on the final lap of this race, James.
Yep. It is, and that makes up for an absolute thrilling finale. Let's hope the driving standard do not drop over these final 3 laps, because honestly, this has been one of the most intensest races I think I've ever commentated on in any league here, even on any F1 game. Daniel leads the way, Montana in second, Connor in third, and Daniel is going to say go probably on the exit of turn 9. He will say go in towards turn 10 and really maximise that. Now he goes on the exit of on the entrance in towards turn 9, and then through turn 10. Perfect restart, and Daniel is now cut upgrade, and now Montana nearly spins the car in behind as well, and that gives a little bit of a run to Connor. Reuter and Campbell are going to go side by side with Tyson. Alba are looking quite close as well on the safety car restart. Nobody going to make the move down and towards turn 1. Daniel leads the way though. Montana in second, Connor in third. Connor I think got caught wide, and now Jensen is right on the back of him. Remember, Jensen on slightly fresher tyres compared to Montana ahead. He looks to the inside line, and Jensen looking for the inside line. Reuter is trying to go all the way around the outside as well, and Campbell tries to get that move done, and Dylan is through on the inside line of Matthias, and he's now through and he's into P8 I should say. Reuter still going side by side, however, with Campbell, and Campbell now on the inside line, Reuter on the outside line, and now Reuter on that fresh set of mediums tries to go all the way around the outside of the Scotsman, and now look at this, because Alba is going to dip between them both. What a move by Alba down the inside line, parting of the Red Sea like Nazareth, and Alba is through and he's into P5. What a move that is, and that now brings him into 5th position and could bring him now the race victory.
That was insane. Best move of the stream. Bravo to Alba so far.
3 wide. It's 3 wide into turn 9.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Campbell and Dylan then for P6 of this race, and there's penalties involved as well. Could be Dylan, or could get them moving to turn 1. Side by side, near spun, but let's forget about that. Let's still battle. He could get too wide into the final turn 1 then. No, Dylan can't do it, but Dylan is absolutely flying on those soft compound tyres. The guys that just pitted, they're on a gold mine at the moment. They could be in a prime position to get some good points in this race. And don't forget our pole man, Verstappen, is only in 9th place. He could jump down huge in this race, unfortunately. But it only takes one more retirement and then everyone will score points. And there's also the fastest lap point, I believe, as well. Pretty much won the penultimate lap, just 1.5 laps to go. Oh, Dylan is going to get the move on Valter. Lovely. And we also got, oh my god, we got Matthias Verstappen in there as well. This could be 2 wide heading towards turn 6 then.
Oh, what a move.
What a move. Matthias.
And now look at Verstappen.
Verstappen's in it as well. Oh my word. This is absolutely insane. I just want this race to go on for absolute ages. It is very, very intense. We still did not know. Alba's on the back of Jensen as well. And Jab was predicting something that hopefully does not happen. And here we go then, James. DRS enabled then. It's game on for the likes of Alba, Jensen, Connor, Montana as well. Daniel's brought the gap to 1.6 seconds. Daniel is absolutely flying. He's done the right thing on those medium tyres. Could we see a race win? Jensen.
Here's Jensen on the back of Connor. Now Connor's going to make it 3 wide and now down the inside line and towards Remus. Jensen commits it down the inside line. There's contact between them now. Alba dips underneath the 3 of them. And Alba's through and he's into second and in the wall goes Jensen. Contact between Jensen and Montana, I think. Montana might get seen to by the stewards. Jensen in the wall and now Matthias is going to get through as well. But Daniel leads the way. Alba in second. Connor in third. What a dramatic ending this is in Austria. And now Verstappen tries to go side by side with Jensen. Jensen, I think, has got damage. Connor has got a 5-second penalty actually for getting one place. I think with the result of contact with Jensen. And now Dylan is side by side with Montana. And Montana now under pressure. And Dylan is through and he's into P4. What a race this has been. Daniel, however, we cannot take it away. The Dutchman now through the final couple of corners. He's absolutely excelled out on track. The VRT man is going to come out on top. Daniel, he won here last season. He wins again. Daniel wins from Alba in second. A few more laps. Alba, I think, would have got him. Connor in third. Dylan in the end. Verstappen's on the podium. Unbelievable. Verstappen is on the podium. Campbell's fourth. Campbell is fourth. Rocco's fed up. We have to delve down into the full grid order to see that. What a race. My voice is gone. My voice has gone. Drive the day wanted by the in-game fans is Alba. And do you know what? I think rightfully so.
I agree with that. I think he gets my drive of the day as well. Absolutely perfect. And the move he did earlier, incredible. And he got P2 as well. He got P3 last week, I believe, in Russia. That is a consistent. He shows for him he doesn't have to have a good qualifying to have a good race. But Daniel, his first win, don't forget, since Austria last season. And it's a Dutch 1-3 on the podium now and a German in P2. Oh, that is insane. That is insane.
We can never get away from Gary as well on the top step of the podium. Gary is essentially out on top here. But obviously, it is Daniel who took the win. Daniel took the win. Of course, Gary being the lookalike, of course, that he's running. Daniel has won from Alba in second. Verstappen somehow is third. I do not know how he is third. He was about 10th coming across the line. But Daniel has won an absolutely dramatic Austrian Grand Prix. Alba in second, Verstappen in third, Campbell in fourth. Great result in the end from the Haas. They were 1 and 2 underneath the safety car restart, and Campbell actually improved up the field to finish in fourth. Rocco in fifth, Montana in sixth, Dylan in seventh, Connor in eighth, Neo in ninth, Ruta round off the top 10, Jensen 11th. Izza, by the way, got the fastest lap points. That is certainly going to be nailed on. Izza there in 12th. Plenty of penalties, though, I think, going to be coming the way. Matthias there in 13th. Larkin, Yildirim, Leonard, Justas, Jume and Milan all out of the race. Daniel has won. Alba second, Verstappen in third. Shall we try and get the top 3 in?
Yeah, I think we should. Gary, what have you done? You missing a superb race there.
Oh, what a race. Dakar has literally put it, I think, spot on. That was the best, worst race that I think he's ever seen. I totally agree. Honestly, driving standards were shocking. I've got to be honest. Driving standards were shocking, but it made up for a thrilling end to that race. And obviously, driving standards in the final 3 laps were very aggressive. The driving standards, of course, certainly need improvement. Russia last week was terrible. I think this week, in terms of the driving standards, a little bit better, but no real improvement. And it just brings down the whole the whole of the league, really, with it. And if you are Division 1, and if these guys are Division 1, you should be performing to the top end of your ability and racing in a clean and fair manner. And if you're not doing that, what's the like of Division 5 going to look at if they're watching this stream back later on?
Yes, and I'll be racing in that race later on as well. So, yeah, not looking forward to that. Let's just hope we don't get any safety cars. If we only get one, then we probably perform better than Division 1. So let's hopefully we can keep to that standard. But I would like to hear for the race winner, Daniel, because he drove superb today.
He did. He dominated affairs, I think, in that second half of the race. The safety cars, I think, really brought him into his own. And Daniel absolutely deserved that win. He literally was in the right position at the right time out on track. We have to give credit to Montana. We have to give credit to Connor, who were fighting him all the way. But in the end, mediums were better than softs towards the end of the race. Mark said it in the comment section. 10 laps on that set of softs will get you 40%. That's only for him. He might be a little bit wearing on the tyres with that. But tyre wear is absolutely crucial around a track like Austria, and it proved to be tonight. But of course, Daniel coming out on top. hopefully you're inviting the top 3 in, Jess, but I'm going to come across you anyway.
I don't have any of them. I don't have any of them.
I don't have any of them.
Oh, right. So I'm gonna have to do a bit of searching. So if you just give me a second.
No worries at all. If it's easier, I'll go blue screen and I'll do it on the PS4.
No, it's fine. I'll do it because I think I have Daniel anyway. So let's see if I can get at least the race winner in.
No problem at all. And of course, if you've been inspired with the best worst race that you've probably ever commentated or never seen in League of Europe, we of course go next week, and I'm going to get the championship standings on to confirm this. I believe next week we do go to Hungary, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Hungary next week, and then my favourite track on the F1 calendar and to drive, Portimao, is in 2 weeks' time. What a track it is. I drove it on Project Cars 2. It's been my favourite track ever since, and Portimao now in the F1 game, of course, and I'm literally like a love child to that track, because it's just a lovely track to drive, it's a lovely track to experience, and the spectate cams is not too bad either, apparently, I've heard from one George Morgan.
Yeah, I haven't even commentated or driven Portimao on this game, so I'm sure Gary's going to be in for an absolute treat next week as well. Hopefully he's recovered from his 21st birthday antics by then. So I'm busy frantically typing Daniel's PSN tag to try and get him into the party. So. I have invited him. Can't add some players because of their settings. So
that is strange. I'll tell you what. I will go blue screen and I'll try and invite everyone in if I can. So you're not going to be heard on the stream, sadly.
No worries.
But I will try and add this as quick as possible. I think I've got all 3 of them on my friends list, if I'm not mistaken. So would have saved a little bit of time if I said that right at the beginning. Who was the top 3 again? It was Daniel.
I think. Let me just check the stream.
Check the stream. Yeah, check the stream. It was Daniel
They can't
first.
hear me. They can't hear me, but I don't care.
Yeah, they can't hear you. It's fine. Absolutely fine.
And I don't want to hear the sound of my own voice either.
It's absolutely fun. Oh, Alba was second. I know that.
Albert and Verstappen. Daniel is not comfortable doing interviews, sadly, so I think we're just going to be hearing from Albert and Verstappen. I have Verstappen on my friend list because he was the one that invited me to the lobby. So, because he added me. Right. I'm
just literally searching his name now, so it should be literally 2 seconds away from hopefully getting at least 2 of them in. Alba and Verstappen.
I added Verstappen, so you just go add Alba and then we're all good.
Yep, both of them have been... it says kind of add one or more players, which is terrific. Hang on. I just need to add Alba, I think.
Yeah, let me see if I can add Alba in.
Where's Verstappen? Verstappen has just joined us. And I'm going to get Alba in. I'm just literally searching up his name now, so literally be 2 seconds. Sorry, Verstappen, we are cutting you away from your inevitable league interview, of course, here in Division 1. We'll get Alba in, add him now and there. So Alba's been added, I think, and we should be good to go. And we'll wait for Alba, of course, to come in before we move on to Verstappen. What a race, though, Jess. Jess, for you, who was your driver of the day? I think we alluded to it. It was Alba.
Yeah, I think Alba was my driver of the day for me. So
I don't blame you. I've just taken a sip of water. I think I need it after that race. My goodness me. What an absolute insane, maybe a bad race. I don't know how to describe that one, to be honest, but it was crazy. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, of course, at home when we wait, of course, for Alba to come into the party if he wants to. Of course, they're not applicable, of course, to do any interviews. But hopefully the German will be joining us very soon indeed. And Jess, obviously you've got Division 5 in a little bit, so we'll try and rattle through these interviews as well. And Alba has now managed to join us, which is fantastic. So Alba, P2 for you out on track. First of all, how did you perform that up and under with 3 drivers on the final lap of the race? It was absolutely insane, you watching coming through the field. Talk us through it.
First off, I had some flashbacks of PSGL F1 PC tier between Jarno and Dani Moreno, and then I think Danoso was who switched back and won the race. And then this is how I felt, because I think Jensen was pushing Connor and Connor was pushing Montana, so they went 3 wide, and Jensen just was completely on the inside, went 3 wide, and then I took my time and just watched that I don't hit anyone and get a clean exit out of 3.
Yeah, you got that clean exit as well, and a couple of laps before that, I think you also performed a 3-wide maneuver down the inside of turn 4. That must be, honestly, your favourite place out on track tonight, because that was literally where we saw you overtaking. But talk us through the race. That safety car, those safety cars really brought out, I think, the best in you in the end. On that fresh set of soft compound tyres, did you always feel like you were going to try and get through the field in the nature that you did?
The first stint was really good. Like, I made like the first 7 laps 8 positions, so I was P8. But then I spun in the penultimate corner, and I spun into the pit lane, but the track reset me automatic onto the track. So I didn't reset on my own, it just resetted me on the track automatic. So that was quite a bummer. I lost like 10 seconds to the lead pack. And then like a couple of laps after, the first safety car came out, which really helped me, even though I lost positions to the likes of Verstappen and Campbell. So I had to try and regain those positions back, because I knew I got the pace to do that. But then somehow I think it was that safety car, lap 15 to 16 and 17. The thing is, Connor had, I think, lobby desync. He said that everyone in front of him just ghosted. And like, he thought everyone's going, but on our screen nothing happened, and he took me out. I got a 5-second penalty for that, which I left in the pit lane. I had wing damage, and I don't know, it was quite hectic. So I was completely lost, and suddenly another safety car came out. And I thought like, maybe it was 15 laps to the end, 14 laps to the end. I know my soft compound tires in the first sim were, after 15 laps, were like 50%, so I knew I could manage them to bring them home. But I got a couple of more positions there, but then got stuck in the DRS train again. And then after the last safety car came out, I was gambling to go onto the new softs, or like just stay out and keep the position. But then I realized that couple of people before that pitted. I think it was one of the Haas's, I think, and then I think Walter was it, who went into the pits in the first lap of the safety car. Because when the safety car came out, I was right direct on the safety car line, and I wasn't sure if I can go to the pit lane or not. Then I stayed out, went to the next lap, and I was kind of lucky that Matt also went into the pits, because he would have been in front of me, so that would have been one more position to try and gain it back. And yeah, I think that last soft run was nearly perfect. I made like 6 positions or so.
Yeah, you did make 6 positions, and honestly, it was fantastic to see you coming through the field. Jess, I'll pass them over to you. Any questions?
You pretty much answered what I was going to say, but moving on to the next race next week as well. Keeping your consistent form, do you think you're going to have a better qualifier next week in order to fight with the track that I like on this game?
Well, actually, I don't know what the next track is. I think Portimao, right?
Yeah, it is.
Hungary.
Hungary.
Okay,
Oh,
Portimao
no,
it is.
no, it's Hungary
Oh,
and
it's Hungary.
Portimao.
It's Hungary.
Sorry. Ah.
Yikes, I think Hungary's more like a real track, so I'm just gonna try my best and just get a right setup for the track, because tire temps are a big problem, especially on the soft compound of tires. But whoever knows, like the way the safety car came out today, like 3 times, anything can happen. Maybe the final stint is again a soft tire where you just go rapid through the field. But yeah, to the qualifying, I mean, it was just a one-shot qualifying. Well, it started raining when we got outside. Like, I think Verstappen had quite so much luck that he was last in the pit lane, so he got P1 when we went out. But yeah, it invalidated my lap in the final corner, and then I think the penultimate corner. Then I spun, and then I came back on the track and went to the complete right, And then Leonard just took me out because he lost a car, and then he took me out. But yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. Still though, I
Yeah, go
mean,
on.
yeah, I'm super happy with P2. I mean, at the end it was just penalties.
Yeah,
That's
penalties
really
in the end. I think honestly, there's going to be a lot of penalties going to be had. So don't even be surprised if you end up P1 in the end as a result of that race. That was absolutely mad. Go and enjoy your evening, though, Alba.
Yeah, thank you. I wish you all a great weekend, and
Thank you.
see you next week.
See you next week as well. It'll be fantastic, of course, to see you back in Hungary. And we'll now move on to Verstappen, of course, who finished in P3. And Verstappen, probably you've never experienced a race like that. I've certainly never experienced a race like that. Talk us through it.
I don't know what to think of it. So obviously the qualifying went really well. First pole position in Louis, so definitely happy with that. Me and Campbell worked together to try and get a 1-2, and that went well up until essentially the first safety car came out. Even then it was still going pretty alright. We were controlling, and then the second safety car, Montana got through first, or at least tried to, and I think you may have seen that, but Joe Bream was a bit late on the brakes, you could say, and I was sent off the track. Not happy with that at all, and the driving standards overall were, not amazing. I think that was quite visible on stream. But in the end, the last safety car was perfectly timed. I could just about go into the pit without exceeding the line, which I saw some other people do. So nonetheless, I could, with only one penalty, I could essentially gain a lot of positional penalties, and then the fresh softs helped a bit at the end. And somehow after the race I got P3, but I can't say I'm happy about it, the way I got it.
Yeah, the driving standards, to be honest, I mentioned at the end of commentary there, honestly, the last 2 weeks have been shocking, I think, in terms of driving standards in Division 1. And what will the guys, I say, in Division 4 and Division 5, the lower divisions, what will they actually see into this? If they think they can drive the absolute morons out on track, then they've got another thing coming, because it's not like that. It's League of Europe, and everyone drives in a clean and fair manner, and if you don't, then you've got a very hard lesson to learn. But Verstappen, obviously, P3 for you out on track, qualifying probably your best highlight, I think. Obviously, P1, you were the first man out on track. Talk us through the safety cars. Did they really help you or hinder you?
I think they mostly hindered me. I think the first one wasn't as bad, because we knew the softs, you'd have to go a very long time to make it work if there was no more safety cars. But usually what seems to happen is that one safety car breeds another safety car, and you saw that this time out as well. People get too close, people get aggressive, and in that sense, I think I lost out quite a bit after I got some from wing damage. Usually, with the last one, I could fix that in the pits, so that helped a bit at the end. But I think overall they didn't help us. I think me and Campbell could have both gotten a 1-2 there, and I'm quite disappointed that didn't pan out the way we wanted to.
Yeah, because you were both up at the vanguard, certainly in the top half of the field, for at least underneath certainly both safety car restarts before the last one came out. And it was an absolute solid drive from you, and to finish P3 and 4, you're bound to be proud of that. Jess, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
Well, did you think that you were going to probably be on the podium after that calamity there? And any advice to people that may have probably given up in some of their races in the past couple of weeks, and what their advice is on that? Because if you've shown, even if you're lower down the grid, you could go high up due to the penalties.
Yeah, definitely. I was not expecting a podium there. A top 5 maybe, because I knew how many penalties there were around. But I didn't think a podium was possible. But in the end, that still happened somehow. So, I guess I'll take it. As 5, my advice would just be stay patient, because it just shows off there's no need to go for over-aggressive moves. And I personally don't think I did that myself, and it paid off. And the same goes to Daniel and Alba, who both drove fantastically, very clean whenever I saw them out on track. So congrats to them as well.
Yes, and going into the next race in Hungary as well, is it one of your strong tracks?
Usually not, so we're just going to try to make the best of it. Decent points would be good enough for me, so see if that can happen.
Congratulations on your result today.
Thank you.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen, of course, in next week in Hungary. If it's anything like this week, of course, it is going to be a fantastic race. As I say, Verstappen, go and enjoy Eden.
Thank you.
You are very welcome indeed. And that concludes our Division 1 race here tonight. I think we both need to go for a lie down. Well, Jess doesn't. She needs to get into a steering wheel because, well, not into a steering wheel, into a playseat, I should say, to get going, of course, for Division 5 in about 10 minutes' time. Hopefully you're doing the time trial practice going in towards the race.
I'm not going to have time. I'm not going to have time.
Well, anyways, we'll wrap up this stream. Try and get a lap in or two, maybe. We'll wrap up this stream now. Fantastic race. Fantastic to have you, of course, in the commentary box, Jess. An absolute privilege, as always. And hopefully it might not be the last we see of you here in Division 1 as well. But, of course, I've been James Said. She has been Jess Games. Thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, for League of Europe Division 1, goodbye.